It'll just be.
Emoji blog type B8. Yes, the answer is yes.
What? Okay. Alright, it is live now, Steven.
What is?
The stream is.
Hmm?
Oh my gosh. One sec. Alright, let's do this. Okay, so I turned off the chats for at least for me to.
Capture card or what?
What are you
What
putting
were
through
you
the?
baking crimson?
Oh, wait, okay.
What?
I need to fix this. Okay, it was speaking the chat to me. It was so annoying. I was so confused why it was doing that. I thought it was you. That was so weird. All right, so just so everyone knows, I was at the studio with why is my freaking phone doing that? I was at the studio, and we ended up not doing anything because multiplayer, everything that's going on. So we just ended the session, and now Steve's here. Say hello, Steven.
Hi, Steven.
Hi, Steven. All right, so we were talking into depth about this. Where should we start? So what happened was we were talking about just everything that was going on today, and like the first thing I said was like, dude, there might not be a factions, like according to some rumors, and Steve started just like, what? No way, dude. That's not gonna be a thing. There's no way. So the thing is, we talked about everything, and we even saw a video reinstating what we were saying even after we saw the Naughty Dog thing they just posted. But I'll let you take it from here. Where do you think we should start, Mr. Steven?
Whatever, I don't know. Whatever you were reading, because you're the one telling about everything.
So everything we've read has not said there's not gonna be factions. All it said is that there's not gonna be a multiplayer in The Last of Us 2, as they're referring to when you actually buy the game, it's not gonna come with factions. So they said there's gonna be an online separate from The Last of Us Part 2. And if you look at everything that Naughty Dog has done since the beginning, they're very consistent. You know, they had Crash 1 through 3. They helped out with Crash Team Racing, and I think Crash Bash as well. They went and did Jak and Daxter 1, 2, and 3, and then I think Jak and Daxter Racing or something. And then they did Uncharted 1, 2, Last of Us, Uncharted 3, 4, and Lost Legacy. Then they came out, and now they're doing The Last of Us Part 2. And then they say there's going to be an online that they don't know of what. Well, there's a lot of... there's... All signs lead to factions. I mean, why would they just make an online game that has nothing to do with anything they've ever done? That wouldn't make any sense. Especially because they said at the bottom of the tweet on Naughty Dog that they love the factions as much as the rest of the community, and there's a lot of reasons of why I think they would do it. For one, they gave themselves a release date, and if it's at nowhere, it sounds like it's really nowhere close to being done. So why would they hold themselves to, oh crap, well, we're just going to have to pull out some BS and throw it into our game? They said they're just focusing on the story. That's all they've said. They have not said there's not going to be a factions. They've never actually said that. So, is there anything you want to add to this, Steven?
No, basically, Fever's in the comments just saying like, yeah, stand down. That's what we're getting at, obviously. Like, that's obviously what they're doing, because everyone on Twitter is just shitting all over Naughty Dog. Basically, that post, like, they're just shitting on it for some reason. And that's like right before that tweet came out, Jake and I were talking about it, saying like that they supposedly weren't doing it. I was telling Jake like they're not doing it. It's either already built into The Last of Us 2, and they're just not gonna like put it in the main menu until something's posted, like, or until they update it and do it that way, or they're just gonna do what like basically Fallout did, where it's like Fallout 4 and then it's like Fallout 76, which is just Fallout 4 online with friends. So that's basically what I was telling Jake, and literally like within 10 minutes of me saying like, nah, they're just gonna do that shit on its own, and then
The Naughty Dog came out and said that.
yeah,
Like,
Naughty Dog was like, we're just gonna do it this way.
And if you go and you, after the stream, go watch Breakthrough Gaming. Breakthrough Gaming 8 hours ago, he had a video on it and was literally saying the same thing before it ever even happened. Exactly the same thing. And he has a lot of insight of why that would be as well. And so we watched that video and it was like, okay, there would be absolutely no reason. They would literally, especially because at the end of what Naughty Dog said, as far as they know how good the Factions was, they know it's such a live community, they love it as much as we do, they would not say that if they weren't going to make one. And especially because they confirmed they're going to make an online game, it's just not going to be part of The Last of Us 2. So it would basically just be a standalone game, which would only make sense because if they know that with The Last of Us as a story mode. So, and also they're wanting to, you know, polish it, make it as perfect as possible, and not have to worry about doing the online at all. And then they can, I mean, it's a great marketing tactic for them. It's not an uncommon thing for them to do. It's just to be like, hey, look, so...
Man, fuck those guys.
Shit, dude, I don't know if I'm going to be able to actually play the game and talk. That's going to be a bitch. So, anyway, just be better. So, anyway, like, I just don't think it would make any sense for them. As a marketing tactic, they're making so much money off of this game. I mean, they sold out on the L edition, like, day one. The collector's edition, it's supposed to sell out by the end of this week. And in some places of the world, it actually has sold out. And then at that point, it'll just be the special edition. And then it'll just be I think they have like a standard plus and then a standard. They are going to sell out on this game completely. And so why would you give an online game for free when they know how big of a community they're trying to draw to? Like, what? It only makes sense that they would want to, like, just make the most money off of this thing. So they'll just, and maybe the Factions doesn't fit into The Last of Us 2. Maybe they weren't able to make it fit. Maybe, like, what I was thinking, what me and Steve were talking about, is maybe they have their own team to make The Last of Us Part 2. Like, they have their own, or not Part 2, but the Last of Us Factions. They have their own team that will just stick with it and try to, like, just keep up on it like they didn't do for this game. How they didn't really listen to their fan base much, as far as all the bugs that were happening, nerfing stuff. Like, they really didn't listen to us much. So I think they're just gonna have a team that's just gonna maintain the online, fix all the bugs on the online, and they'll still have the. One second, I'm gonna come get this guy. But it's just a marketing tactic. It's just really what it is.
Fuck, I'm down.
And like what Steve was saying, there was like Fallout, and then there, what was it? Fallout 4 and then Fallout 76 being its own online.
Wait a sec, I'll fix
So it's other companies are doing it, and Naughty Dog, they're not stupid.
Thanks.
They're really not stupid. As much as everyone likes to think they are, they're really not. They know what they're doing. So, oh all signs lead to it's gonna happen. It just doesn't. It would if they're not gonna do it, and especially it's because everything they do for a reason. I mean, they even have a quote: "Everything happens for a reason." The way that they're beating around the bush about, they haven't said no. There's not going to be a factions. They have not said that. They wouldn't beat around the bush for no reason. Like they just really wouldn't do that. That wouldn't make sense. If they wasn't going to do it, they'd just say, hey guys, it's just not going to happen. It's not in the cards for us. Not that many people play it. Whatever their excuse is. They would just come out and say it. But for the fact that they've already started on this day, on factions last year, and then all of a sudden out of nowhere, oh yeah, there's just not going to be a factions, and then go radio silent. I mean, they're just wanting to surprise us is all. It just seems like it's... well, let's put it this way. Why, like... Basically, when it comes time to it, when we can wait until they release this whatever online they say they're going to release, and we'll just see what happens. I would be completely shocked if they actually didn't make a Factions 2. That would be the dumbest thing. I think they also know that Factions in general has a different fan base than people who play the story mode, and that's obvious because there's a lot of people you talk to who have played this game, and they sit there and they're like, "There's an online for Factions or online for The Last of Us? Huh? Had no idea." There's a completely different fan base for the online than there is for the story mode, and I think they know that, and they're just trying to get the ultimate amount of money out of this.
Keep breathing. I
mean, the fact that they're selling the game in 5 different versions is absurd. I mean, that all it screams is, look, we've put the time into this that we can get away with selling 5 versions of this game, so we might as well sell a Factions multiplayer by itself. Just ultimate amount of money. It only makes sense.
I don't think it's so much for the money, but it's for them to actually fix everything.
That too, yeah, because they have an entire team to fix the bugs. Yeah, because they have, because if they have bugs in the, basically if you have bugs in the online, it's odds are you're gonna have the same bugs on the story mode. So they'd have to like shut down their servers, shut down the game. Nobody would have access to the game for who knows how long. When at least you can play one or the other if you make them separate.
That one sure is dead.
So,
Mom said, watch your ass.
just everything about it. It's just, I don't know. You can't make me believe that there's not going to be an online. Like, it would, they'd be shooting themselves in the foot so hard.
There's people out there that are dumb enough to think that it's gonna not have online, period. Which Part 2 won't, but then, yeah, again, they're probably gonna release some other standalone online game, and it's just gonna be called something like The Last of Us Factions or something, which would make sense. But that's the thing, is that they can have one team just working all on The Last of Us Part 2, getting all the bugs sorted. Once all the main shit's done on that, then they can take most of that team and then just put it all towards creating the online version that's going to be a standalone thing, and then get rid of all the bugs on there, and then they can basically divert their focus to making it whatever, a new, whatever call it they decide to make. Like a new game, I guess. Like,
Yeah.
that has nothing to do with, you know.
And it honestly sounds like they have a completely different team that does the online. It sounds like it's its own thing. And I think they know that the Uncharted was just a flop. I'm pretty sure they're aware of that. They've done so much to try to keep, like, make it better, and there's nothing they can do can fix the horror that they made of that game. So I think they're just gonna have their own team that's just gonna, all their focus is just gonna be making the online better and actually keeping up with their fan base and actually listening to their fans. Because I think they recognize that they really, there's a lot better they could have done with this game. Like they really could have done a lot better with listening to us. I mean, we all know that. They have not listened to us at all. So this might just be an improvement on how they're wanting to do things. But I think they do they do see how big of a success this game was, and it, as an online multiplayer, they realize that people are still playing this game, and people on Uncharted are just simply not playing the game. Like, there's just not, you don't hear people talking about the Uncharted Online. Nobody's talking about it. Nobody's playing that.
Cover me.
Like,
All
people
done.
got
Let's go. All done. Let's go.
the achievements for it or whatever, and then
Alright,
just
let's go.
they're like, oh, this game's stupid. This game's just so dumb. And a lot of the money they make from these games are from the microtransactions. I mean, come on, you know, all of us
watch
bought
my
so
ass.
many cosmetics, like some of the weapons in the game. I mean, I'm using a freaking burst pistol right now, for crying out loud. The cosmetics, my mask right there, that I had to pay money for that mask. Like, there's so much money they made off factions. So much money through
Alright, let's
microtransactions.
go.
That's where they made most of their money. That's why they were able to sell the game remastered as $20 pretty much from release. I mean, I bought a PS4 1 year after the PS4 came out, and The Last of Us was $20 then, and it stayed $20 since. And if you were to buy
Let's go.
just even a good decent amount for the online, I mean, they gave you the maps for free. They gave you all the DLC for free. So they weren't really concerned about that because there's so much money they were still making on the online between $10 to play on PS3, which you didn't have to do anymore. And they had the cosmetic, all the things that we bought on the DLC for this. So they made so much money because I don't know a single person that plays the online that didn't buy something for the online. Not a single person. Other than maybe Steve, because he's downloading it right now. But he's the one exception. So it's just they are not stupid. They see how much money and how just literally you look up The Last of Us, like 9 out of 10 videos for The Last of Us 1 has been the online. They're not idiots.
All done. Let's go.
They're just not. It's just as simple as that. They're gonna have their one team on their online. They're gonna have their main team be working on story-based games, while they just let their online team do all the dirty work, basically. Because it's hard to maintain both. I mean,
done, let's go.
it's especially if they're wanting to work on a new game, and they have bugs on this, and they have to keep going back. Like, that's just going to be so much work that they don't want to do. I might as well leave. I don't really care. So, I don't know. It literally, if you are looking at it at all the facts and you're just looking at just everything as a whole, they've not actually come out and say there's not going to be a factions. Everything that they've said, both articles I read, at the end stated how good factions was. That's just plain and simple. That's all it said, is how good factions was. They said there's gonna be an online still, just later on, and they're not trying to give away anything, but they can sell the game twice. They're selling it 5 times in different versions, and then they're selling it, and they even have a digital pack and a deluxe digital pack. So there's actually 7 versions of this freaking game, plus an online, and I'm sure they're gonna have like a deluxe or even a collector's edition online. Like, think of how much freaking money they're gonna make. It's gonna be absurd. And also, just thinking about, like, it's a 2-disc game. They probably couldn't even fit it in the game. They were looking at this thing, they're like, holy crap, you can play this game at 4K. This game's gonna be huge. It has some parts that are gonna be open world. Like, oh my gosh, like, there's no way we can fit an online in this. This is just an impossible task. They even said that it's just it'd be too ambitious to try that. I mean, they'd have to make a 3-disc thing. They're like, well, that'd be stupid. I mean, look at Lost Legacy. Lost Legacy was supposed to be a deluxe. It was supposed to be an add-on from Uncharted 4. It was supposed to be DLC, but it ended up being its standalone game, and it was supposed to be DLC. It's the same concept. That it makes complete sense. I'm sorry, but they're gonna have to say plain and simple, it's not, there will and never be a factions before I believe them. There's just no possible way. There's no way around it. They would literally be the dumbest company in the whole world if that's what they did. So, is there anything you want to add, Steve?
No, you pretty much just got it. That's like what it's gonna be. Like, this whole video was just, or stream, I guess, Jake just wanting to get his thoughts out on it, because that's all we were seeing was people shitting on Naughty Dog, saying whatever about them basically saying that factions won't be part of The Last of Us Part 2, and people immediately jump into the conclusion that there was just going to be no online.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you pretty much got it all.
I think so. I think that sums it up pretty good. And especially because, just think about this, guys. Think of how stupid it would be if they literally said, hey, there's going to be an online, and then, like I said at the beginning, they had Crash, they had Jak and Daxter, they had Uncharted, they had The Last of Us. Why the hell would they all of a sudden be like, oh, hey, here's an online that has nothing to do with anything we've ever created? Period. Here you go. Like, here's freaking blasphemous online whatever. Here you go. Here's some random online because we feel like it. Here's Fortnite 2.0. Let's do that. Like, it doesn't make sense why Naughty Dog would go out of their way to make a freaking online that has nothing to do with The Last of Us. It would... I think they're just taking the Lost Legacy route, which they've already done. Instead of just making a DLC for the game, they just made a whole entire game out of it. So... And because of, they were even said how ambitious Lost Legacy was, that it wouldn't make, like, they're like, you know what, Lost Legacy, we ended up having more ideas for it. There's just so much to this game that we didn't realize we were going to be able to do, so it's just going to be its own game. It's not going to be a DLC. So the fact that they've already done it once, and everybody having no faith in them, it just doesn't make any sense to me. Why everybody is completely lost faith when we don't even know. And that we're literally just speculating. I mean, I'm speculating right now, but we're literally jumping to conclusions when they've not actually said there's not going to be an online. And they've already said Naughty Dog themselves recognized how ambitious and how much they actually loved factions. So they obviously haven't forgot about us. They're just terrible at actually responding to us. But I almost guarantee I mean, in my mind, what they're going to do, they're going to release the game, they'll wait 6 months to probably a year, and just say, hey guys, look, like maybe the Outbreak Day next year, they're just like, hey guys, so here's Factions 2. Like, here you go. It's going to come out in Christmas or whatever. Who knows? Like, it would be nothing but a great idea for them to do. And they'd have two different kind of people buying this game. You'd have all the factions people, or all the people who just love the story mode, who are going to buy the game anyway. Go and play the story, love it, get as much money out of it as possible, make it sell as many copies as you possibly can, and then, you know, come out and say, hey, we're gonna resell the game. We're gonna make even more money off this game. We're gonna go. You know, I just had to get that double headshot. Sorry, guys. But it just, you can't make me believe it. I'm sorry. They're not idiots.
Unless they are.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, I forgot. They actually are. But after this match, I'm gonna actually leave the stream. We're gonna actually talk about this. I'll hear your guys' opinions. But I know I know the popular thing to do is just to shit on Naughty Dog because it's easy to do. It's, you know, it's actually kind of fun. It's kind of become a meme at this point. But it's just, I have other thoughts. I really don't think that they're as stupid as we all think they are. So Anyway. I'll go back and reread some of the comments too, but I don't know. I'm trying to look at this as at a logical point of view of just like, especially with, I don't know. It also opened my eyes when I freaking looked on their website and they're selling a skateboard deck that's worth at most $60, but obviously being $100 would have been okay. But selling it at $200 fucking dollars. A Last of Us skate deck, and it's the most plain piece of shit I've ever seen. That thing was so boring to look at. It didn't even have like some cool art on it. It was literally just said The Last of Us, and it was $200 for that deck. It's absurd. That is completely wrong to me. So the fact that like they're selling, and people apparently are buying that shit. I'm sorry for anybody who has bought that, but
He's got a rifle.
anyway.
The next thing they're gonna sell is The Last of Us garbage.
What was that?
So they're gonna sell The Last of Us garbage and people are gonna buy it.
Yeah, dude.
Ain't got many left.
I
Keep
just,
it up.
they knew how ambitious this project was going into, and I think it's just like, this probably was part of the plan the whole time, honestly. I wouldn't doubt that this was their plan the whole time. Cause
I think it was, and then people shit on them too hard, or like people freaked out too much, so they figured that they might as well just come out and say it.
And you know what? I think that they recognize how much people do talk shit on them, and they're gonna be like, I'm gonna show you. Watch this. We're gonna completely ruin all of your hopes. All your hopes and dreams, we're gonna crush them, just to bring them back and say, hey, look, this is where we've been this whole time. We've been listening to you guys, but you just don't have any faith in us. Like maybe after this, they'll be like, actually like be closer to their fan base, because it's like, look guys, we're listening to you. You just gotta trust us that we know what we're doing. So
It's just smarter to have a dedicated team that just works on the one thing.
it really is. I think they'll be able to actually achieve the actually following their fan base. I think they'll be able to give the fan base the care it needs, like the attention it needs. Because if there's something wrong with the story mode or whatever, like it's just, there's so much that has to go into it. There's so much work that people don't realize. They just choose to not recognize it, I guess. But there's so much that has to go into a game that when there's something that goes wrong, it's like, oh shoot, guys, we have to stop everything and do this one thing, or both of them for that matter, because odds are it's going to be on both. The online and the story mode are going to have the same problems, depending on what the problem is. So they pretty much have to stop the game, or they have to stop production. The thing is that I'm thinking of is that they have to stop production on a new story mode game, story-based game that they're making. They have to stop everything, go back to this game, go to the online, and go and fix it. And they're just like, man, dude, that's such a headache. We need a better solution for that so we can actually take care of our fans. So then they have to... So by doing that, they're able to actually listen to us because they have a dedicated team to actually be there for us and help us with, making this game the best it can be as an online and as a game. And that note, I'm going to turn back the comments on. Let me turn them on. Advanced settings. See if that worked. There we go. So, yeah, that board was stupid. Hey, Courtney, how are you doing? Okay, so we're gonna open it up. What are you guys' thoughts? Do you have any questions? Do you have any insight? I'm honestly, I'm sorry, but I'm not someone that's just gonna come here and shit on my favorite game ever. my absolute favorite game. I'm not going to come here and shit on it just because I think through speculation and not and being an idiot and not reading between the lines of what they're actually saying. Because if you're reading what they're actually saying, they word it the way they word it on purpose. They're not stupid. Like the way that they said everything and then they had a whole, but just so you know, we loved the factions. They loved it. And just everything like that. I'm just like, look guys, if you're actually reading what they're actually saying and not just going off of your feelings, I think we can actually, I will be completely mind blown and you guys can come and shit all over me for as long as you want if there's not a factions 2. Like, they pretty much would just be, they would be doing themselves a huge disservice by doing that. I think they realize how this game has lived on for 6 years for a reason, and it's not the story mode. There's only so much of the story mode you can play. I beat it like 30 times. Not 3 times. 30 times I beat that game. But even then, it was just like, the online's what, like, continued to keep me loving this game. I don't think I would have came back to play it, like, the 30th time. Like, I probably would have maybe done 20, but, like, in the 30 times, it wouldn't have lasted 6 years. There's just no way. There'd be other games I would be going to find that I'd end up loving, but freaking 2 discs, man, that's ridiculous. But I'm gonna go from the very top. I'm gonna read these all of these, and I'm gonna address them one by one. So Crimson says bake. So let's see. I'm just looking at all the facts here, guys. Like, I'm sorry, but like, if you look at, they're a very consistent team. They really are very consistent. They're very good at doing that. So, I don't think it's time that they say, hey, we're just gonna make an online of mysteries. We're just gonna make it. We're gonna make Overwatch 2.0. That's what we're gonna do right now. So, standalone factions, and they'll be able to actually see how much we love factions by selling it standalone too. Let's see here. Sorry, I'm just reading these right now. They really did. Like, it's like as if they confirmed it without confirming it to surprise us later on. I mean, come on. They really did. Let's see. But, hey, sorry, I didn't see that, Micah, because I had it all. Here, let me get Micah in the chat. Let's get Micah. Let's get Micah. What? Dude, we needed you here, man. You can... Dude, don't even...
I could have done so much.
Come on, dude. We need you here, man.
No, you don't.
Yeah, dude. The thing is when we were talking about it, dude, like, I guess since I was able to kind of put it together better because of everything that you were telling, like, we were going back and forth, because I didn't seem to miss a beat when I came on here. Like, you really helped, like, us, like, both of us just kind of look at this. But But yeah, what's up, Micah?
Micah, Jakey baby, what's up, bro?
What's up, dude? What do you think about what I'm saying? Am I just going nuts? But I'm.
All right. Listen. I strongly believe that this is very much needed because we need differing points of view. If everybody else was just all on the same, honestly, let me put it this way: if everybody was on the same wavelength as far as what they think about this, that means Naughty Dog did a good job. You know, they were clear. But there's so many differing points of view, and that's good. That's also a good thing because that creates discussion, which could be part of their plan. Who knows? But if you don't mind, I'm gonna read the address that they posted one more time, if that's okay. But I'm just gonna read like a portion of it, if that's okay.
Yep, go ahead.
I want to make my case. I want to make my case because I'm still on the fence. But I just want to offer a different point of view rather than, you know, it's coming, you know, Last of Us Online is going to come. I want to offer a different point of view. So I'm just going to read this portion right here. However, you will eventually experience the fruits of our team's online ambition, but not as part of The Last of Us Part 2. And yeah, that means that it's not going to come with TLOU 2 and it'll come at a later time. This part, though, says when and where it will be realized is still to be determined. And that says nothing other than Naughty Dog still doesn't know where all of that time and resources is going to go. If they were more clear and they said, yeah, the time and resources that we put in, the fruits of our labor, you're going to experience them in the form of a Last of Us Online, but just wait on it. It'd be so much more clear. But they're flat out saying, we don't know what we're going to put this into. We don't know what we're going to channel this into, but just keep waiting. Just keep waiting. You'll find out eventually. We don't know if it's going to be Last of Us Online, or at least that's how I'm seeing it.
Yeah.
I think that Naughty Dog themselves don't even know if it's going to be TLOU Online or if it's going to be some bullshit spin-off. I'm praying that it's not the latter. But since they said we don't know when and where, if they don't know when and where, then it just means that they don't know if it's going to be The Last of Us Online. Does that make sense?
No, I get it. I know what you're saying.
That's how I'm seeing all of this. So that's my point of view.
I know exactly like what you're saying, but the thing is that what they said after. Read the part after.
All right, I'll keep reading. But rest assured, we are as big a fan of this is a lie, by the way. We are as big a fan of factions as the rest of our community. That's a lie. And are excited to share more when it's ready.
I do have my doubts that it is a lie just because of how much they haven't listened to us. But I also do think that they didn't have the means to do what they needed to help us. The reason I say that is because it was like right after like Last of Us dropped and they had the factions on there. It's like, okay, now all of our time is now directed, you know, we got Uncharted 3, we got Uncharted 4, we got Lost Legacy. Like, they immediately went right and then like an online for it that sucked ass.
Of course, and because I'm part of a few different fandoms besides the TLOU community, I know exactly where this is going. I've seen developers that have one game in development hell and they're working on 2 different projects and whatnot. So I know all about that. I know about Lost Legacy and whatnot being worked on at the same time. So I get that. I don't know where I was going with that, but I get what you're saying. The whole juggling multiple projects at the same time thing.
Yeah, I think because the thing is too is like with how ambitious Lost Legacy apparently was. I thought that game was mediocre at best. Lost
Legacy was not ambitious.
But to them it was.
TLOU 2 single player, regardless, still looks ambitious. You have to be Stevie Wonder or Ray Charles to not see that TLOU 2 single player is still ambitious as hell.
Oh no. But what I'm saying is they were only gonna do Lost Legacy as a DLC, then it turned into an actual game. They were not prepared for that.
Yep.
So they're like, yeah. So we were gonna be like doing Last of Us 2, but now it's kind of in the back. It's on the back burner right now. So just it's gonna be a while. So then it wasn't until it released. They're like, okay. Now that's over. Now that's out of the way. Okay, we're good. Now we can go full development on The Last of Us Part 2. And so the other thing is
Lost
too.
Legacy was not a DLC too. There are still people that call it a DLC.
And
You know
it's
what
not.
DLC stands for?
Downloadable
DLC
content.
stands for downloadable content. Did you download the Lost Legacy? I mean, I'm sure you can buy it digitally, but you can buy the Lost Legacy on a shelf at a GameStop. DLC does not stand for store-bought content. Otherwise, it would be SBC. It's DLC. So it's not a DLC. It is a game. No matter how small scale it is its own game.
Yeah. No, it absolutely is. It was meant to be DLC, and it for sure did not turn out to be that way. So, but the thing is, they went to full development with The Last of Us 2, and the thing is that's like confusing to me. Is that last year they confirmed to us, hey, like we have a team making TLOU Factions confirmed last year, and then to say out of like. The thing is that another thing is that what the person that was interviewed, like the art director or whatever her face is, it sounded like that wasn't part of the plan. That sounded like that was kind of a leak, and everyone went crazy, and now Naughty Dog had to go and say something about it. So that's kind of like
it took them way too long to say something.
So that's the vibe I got.
Something.
Is the fact that somebody just came in and someone interviewed them and somebody like was like making them give them an answer, and she's like, I guess we're not doing Last of Us 2, and here's why or what. And so I'm just sitting here. I'm like, okay, guys, you guys have had a year and a half. It's been a year and a half since you guys announced there was going to be a factions and that you've been working on it. But they may have been working on it before that. But I'm sitting here. I'm like, okay. What have you been doing for the last year and a half? Like they've had to have gotten a pretty decent amount, like laid out, done, ideas, everything, for it to take them this long and 6 months before the release to be like, so yeah, there's actually not gonna be one, and it's like, what? That doesn't make sense. You guys have been working so hard on it. Why would you just give up? And they've never given up on a project. So it's like, what do you do? The only thing they've ever done, as far as it not being planned, is the only thing I've seen was Lost Legacy. It was like, oh wait, we're actually gonna add more to this. This is gonna be its own game. Oh shoot. Okay, I guess we're gonna do that now. So I look at that scenario because that was the very last thing we've seen from Naughty Dog. It really would make sense to me that they're just doing that again, where it's like, oh, this is actually a bigger multiplayer than we thought. It's going to be its own standalone game, the same way the DLC was. That's my interpretation. Because why would they make an online for something that has nothing to do with it? It has nothing to do with factions. Let's just make a Fortnite because online, because money. I don't think so. That would be kind of.
I'm still just terrified. I'm terrified that. They might incorporate new factions if this even is happening, but just the way that they worded that message, I feel like they could be handling this so much better and just flat out say, hey guys, this might be called something different, but The Last of Us Online is coming soon. That's what Rockstar did. That's what Rockstar did before Red Dead 2 came out. Hey guys, Red Dead Online, it's coming out soon.
Bitches? I'm here to stock up on Robins. Keep running out for some reason.
Keep going, Micah. It's tough, Cream.
Yeah, anyway. That's what Rockstar did, though, is they said, hey, here's Red Dead Online. We're not going to tell you when it drops, but it's going to drop. Don't worry. And Naughty Dog is doing the same thing, but they're doing it in just such a shittier way. And they're not even blatantly saying TLOU Online or TLU multiplayer. They're just saying, hey, you know, we have a project. We're not going to tell you what it is. We're not going to tell you when it's dropping. We're not going to tell you what it takes place in. But it's there. just wait. Soon. And then that soon turns into a year, another year.
Steve
And we're just
left the
kept in the
party.
dark with this
Oh,
single
shit.
player game that we're going to beat 5 times in a row and then potentially forget about. So
Maybe.
that's my case.
Yeah. Another thing is I've been like thinking about too is just like, oh shit, what was it? It was something you said like made me think of it. But yeah. So for the fact that like, when they released Last of Us, the original, so they released The Last of Us, and they only had a few maps, and they had like, there's a lot more they added to the online later. So that already tells you that wasn't finished either.
Of course.
So if you look at it that way too, like they weren't even ready for that at the time. This would just be replicating it just on a bigger scale, I guess. It's just like instead of only having some of the online there at the beginning, now it's like shoot. It's going to be its own game. Like just blatantly simple.
I would appreciate.
I'm not a
if
big
that was
supporter
the
of.
case. Oh, never mind.
Yeah, what I was gonna say is that if you're retracing your steps, though, is there any growth in that though? If you're just retracing your steps and doing the same exact shit you were doing years ago, that's not growth. You know, that's not becoming a better developer. You're just stuck in the same stalemate that you've been in since 2013 or even earlier.
That, or they're
So-
actually doing what other developers aren't doing, and they're actually making good games that take a lot of time. Because most developers just throw us trash games. They throw us unfinished games, broken ass games. That's all we get. That's all we get from almost any developer. They're really the only
Despite-
ones that try to polish their games, try to make it the best thing that they can possibly give us, like they did. I mean, Uncharted 4, they pushed it 3 months down the line. They're like, it was like a few weeks before release. They're like, oh, dude, this isn't going to be done in January. It's going to be done in March. There's no way we can get it done now. Like, it's just not something. They've been replicating it, yes, but it's for a good reason. And there's other developers that actually take their games seriously that have done the same thing. There's just not many of them out there. That's what I'm saying. It's like most developers just release like unfinished games and then they go and fix them later. Look at freaking No Man's Sky. They released a piece of shit, and they even came out and said, this is not done. And Sony's like, no, it has to be done. You just have to release it. And it hasn't been until recently. It's been like, what, 3 years since they finally made a playable game? That's what they did. That's what happened with No Man's Sky, and that was a Sony game at first, and then it ended up going on both platforms, but at first it was a Sony exclusive. So it's just like...
It wasn't, but yeah. I
Yeah,
get
it
what
was.
you
It was only on the PlayStation at first, wasn't it?
mean. And PC.
Oh, okay. But it wasn't on
that's
Xbox.
but that's not the conversation. We can shit on No Man's Sky another time, but
But no,
you know
what
the
I'm
most
saying is like they actually make good games, and that's what sets them apart, is that they actually give their games the time and the care that it needs, and doesn't just rush out this piece of shit. So yes, they're replicating it, but they've kept replicating it because of good reasons. Like,
yeah, of course, and we're not knocking Naughty Dog for that.
What I was going to say, like really quick, because it's just a minor point.
That's wise, I guess. Now go ahead, Biker.
Thank you, Brimson. What I was going to say is what's so mind-boggling is despite how much Naughty Dog has seriously been lacking and how cryptic and just frustrating they've been to deal with, they are still a godsend compared to these shitty EA, Activision companies.
Oh, absolutely.
Bethesda even. You can throw them in there. Naughty Dog are still
Of course.
Naughty Dog are still a godsend compared to a lot of these companies. And like you do have to appreciate them for that. But
Of course.
I said some unkind words about them earlier. Like I literally said that they can suck a dick at this point, and I still kind of feel that way. But it's
You and me both.
I can still They're still good in them. They're like a supervillain. They're like a
it's one of
supervillain
those-
at this point that still has good in them.
It's one of those things where it's like, as developers, everyone that's not an indie developer is all corrupt and like evil, like in a sense. It's like you can kind of use that as a scenario, but for them, it's like they're above that to an extent. It's like they're stuck in that position, but they're doing their best to still like be above them. Like they're still corrupt, but they're better than other things. Like, I guess you could say.
They're corrupt, but they're less corrupt.
Yeah. There you go.
But the lesser evil is still, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
They're
it's-
being the lesser
It's
evil, but they're still
evil
being
to an
dickheads.
extent. Yeah, dude. But like I was trying to say, I was trying to get my word in edgewise earlier until Bika interrupted me for the umpteenth time.
Oh no. What happened is your audio was cutting out. So like I thought that I had the floor. So go ahead,
might
Grim.
be.
I'll shut up.
But we're not really arguing the fact that Naughty Dog doesn't make good games. That's one of the reasons why me personally I'm a big fan of them. And like even throughout all this bullshit, which I'm hurt throughout, like the fact that for one, multiplayer is not going to be a launch thing to begin with, and the fact that it's like if it does happen, then it's like what for? They're not really being clear to us. I'll still always be a fan of Naughty Dog, but this kind of just makes my respect like just kind of go down for them. But that's not the point. The point I'm really making as far as that goes is that the fact that like there is like Naughty Dog's transparency has not really been that great for like ever really. It's like in 2000 like in 2010 11 12 13 we it's like that this would have been okay to an extent. This would have just flown under the radar. We get our news when we get it, and like we'd be okay. But in this social media age, where it's so easy to communicate like these details to to your fans and whatnot, and I understand it's like them being a Sony first party studio, they probably have NDAs that they can't talk about until like certain dates or certain events, like how obviously they weren't going to talk about this release date stuff until State of Play. But even then, it's like just give us something. And then it's like even more so, I'm more annoyed by the fact that like they said that multiplayer was coming and then they walked back on it, and now for compensation, they're like, oh, we have something down the line for you. We don't even know what it is, but
there's no need to be so cryptic. There's no need to be so cryptic.
Bear with us, and thank you for coming to my TED Talk. See you next year. I don't like that. I don't like that. It's like maybe my emotions will probably slow down, and I'll probably still get the Ellie edition like when I get the chance. But like it's stuff like this that really just puts a big stain on like what they do. It's like we can make any kind of excuses we want for Naughty Dog as far as like the multiplayer debacle that's going on right now. But like, I keep telling people that if we just keep going back to the fact that Rockstar did this with Rockstar did this with GTA 5's multiplayer and especially Red Dead Redemption 2 multiplayer just last year, where they were like, yeah, it's not gonna come day and date with the single player, which is actually kind of genius in hindsight, but we're not going to talk about that. Like the fact that they were even like just openly willing to talk to their fans about that, despite how garbage Red Dead Redemption 2 online is. Like I'll just keep it a buck with everyone right now. But it's like the fact that they were at least transparent. It's like, yeah, it's not going to be day and date with the campaign and whatnot. But at least you guys have the campaign, and we're not walking back on it in any sort of way. I just feel like, in this day and age, Naughty Dog could do a whole lot better, and they're just not doing. And it's like it's a real shame because, in my opinion, Naughty Dog are just the best to ever do it. Like they're the best out now. They're, like I said, they're the best to ever do it. And my controller disconnected. Like I said, they're the best to ever do it. They're the best to ever do it, in my opinion. And the fact that they're just being so quiet and like they're just kind of being real secretive. This keep the fans in the dark bullshit is just really annoying to me. And like, honestly, and I'm sorry, like someone said something in the chat that I was about to bring up, but it's like Naughty Dog could just be doing so much better as like, you know, how they communicate their messages to their fans, and the fact that they're just not doing it while everyone else is flourishing. It's just hurtful to me because I would want The Last of Us to be that multi-billion-dollar IP that Rockstar has. Like, fuck Grand Theft Auto Online. It's like The Last of Us should be the multi-billion-dollar IP, in my opinion. And it's like they have this opportunity. They have this beautiful golden opportunity in the palm of their hands, and they're just to me they're just squandering it right now. I'm sorry for all this heavy-handed talk right now, but that shit, that's kind of just how I need to get that off. But here you go, boys. What do you got to say about that?
No, yeah. The thing is that it's kind of hard, a little bit, as far as as far as how it goes with. I guess, what am I trying to say? I guess with the whole communicating with Naughty Dog thing, it's just like, the problem is that everyone, it's just like they do so much good. Like, honestly, they're the best developers out there. They make the best games there are. They do so much, and me as a company, like, if I was over there, like, their main guy over their Twitter, and all I get, like, spammed with is just a bunch of shit all the time, and just nobody that appreciates it, they just start ignoring it because they're just like, wow, we have a community of a bunch of whiny bitches. That's probably what they think.
There's a firefly
like, honestly,
close by.
like if it was just like every now and then, and it was like actual like big things instead of all these little minor things, like I think they would actually come out and like fix it. But it's just like they get shit on so much, they just are like, dude, we're done looking at that. Like, that's just annoying. Like, we do so much, these guys don't even know. Like, that's...
I mean, of course, because, like, people are always gonna complain about something. It doesn't matter what it is. I remember when Spider-Man was coming out last year, and, like, people were, like, just shitting their pants over the fact that the Sam Raimi suit wasn't in it, which it shouldn't have been to begin with. That's like one of the worst Spider-Man suits ever, but that's not the discussion. But like people were just absolutely fucking, everyone was just shut up. Everyone was just absolutely shitting themselves over the fact that the Raimi suit wasn't in it. And it's like people just don't understand. It's like, I get it, because game development is fucking hard, dude. Because I've tried fucking programming, and shit for games before, and it's hard. It's hard, dude. It's like to do that on a scale of a big AAA game, like just any AAA game, it's like that's a daunting task. And game developers have my respect regardless. But like my problem is like, again, we go back to the fact that we've been playing this game for upwards to 8 years for 8 years. 8 years, John.
8 years, John.
I'm gonna get it. 1 sec.
So I've been playing with this headset all day, and it just died on me. So that was fun. F in the chat for my shitty rechargeable headset. Jesus. But yeah. So I'll always respect game developers, no matter where they come from or like whose belt they're under. Fucking tax. He just popped in and out. And like I always respect game developers. That's like one of the hardest like just jobs to do, and especially on a scale of a big AAA game. And then you have like certain shitty publishers like EA or Activision, where you have to meet
Ubisoft. Don't forget Ubisoft.
Oh yeah, Ubisoft too. You're right. You're right.
They're the worst of all of them, honestly. Because none of their games are actually good. I'm like, who buys these games? They're all broken.
Nah. not at all.
No, dude,
Ubisoft
they're
actually
literally Assassin's Creed's
No.
the worst franchise that's ever come out. The
Oh, no,
absolute
wait, I'm not
worst.
gonna. I'm not gonna. Hey,
Whoa. Nah.
Dude, those games are just
down.
bullshit.
Slow
It's a
down.
following
No,
mission after
okay,
following
okay,
mission.
guys.
No.
Okay,
No.
guys, we're getting off
I
topic
will
here.
not stick up. I will not stick up for Ubisoft at all, but do not disrespect the first few games of that series.
They
Alright, guys,
beat
we're
a dead horse for 30 years, John. They beat that horse.
The first few games were classics. I will fight over that. The recent titles are shitty. The recent titles are
Okay,
shitty,
we can fight about that another time, but we're
yeah,
that's not the
task at
conversation.
hand. That's not the
That's not
task
the
at hand.
I'll give you this. The second one and Brotherhood were pretty great. I'll give you that. Those weren't
Thank you.
they weren't
Thank
bad. After that, they can go to hell. But that's beside the point.
But yeah, just game development in general, it's fucking hard, dude. I get it, I respect it, and I'll forever love companies like Naughty Dog who, despite all of that, can chuck out classics like Uncharted, the Uncharted series in general,
Firefly, right
minus Lost Legacy, that was a bunch of bullshit. The Last of Us, obviously, fucking all the Jack and Daxters and Crash, they earned their status as legendary
Watch
developers.
yourself.
But again, if we all just look objectively and just don't completely just look at Naughty Dog all lovey-dovey, it's there's some things that need to be improved as far as just transparency and whatnot. It's again, I will take a delayed multiplayer for TU 2 if it means the campaign will be an unabashed classic like the first one. But they can't do all what they're doing, and especially with their track record, and just expect the fans to just be just kind of just throw them to the wayside. It's because we exist too. It's what was the point of making the multiplayer? Saying that there was gonna be a follow-up to that multiplayer, and then just kind of throwing us to the wayside. That's how I at least feel about it. I feel like factions deserves a lot more respect than even the fucking Naughty Dog is treated with. It's I don't know, man. It's it just kind of hurts. And nothing in that post really confirms
Right there.
that a standalone game is happening, as much as that would be dope. And it's we have ideas that we can spitball as far as a standalone factions would go. But it's
I was going to bring up something.
Well, I'm almost done anyway, so I'll let you get to that point. But as far as that goes, I don't really see I don't really see what they're planning. I don't see what this big beast project could be. Is maybe this is standalone factions, maybe this is something TU 2 multiplayer that is coming down the road, or maybe it's just for another game that's not gonna be just like Uncharted 4's multiplayer. It's not gonna be any kind of fun. And it's just gonna make us think, wow, they did this, so they could have fucking made a fucking faction standalone game or a TU 2 multiplayer. Simple as that. So
Watch
I don't know.
yourself.
TU Battle Royale.
Naughty Dog Battle Royale.
Naughty Dog Battle Royale with faction mechanics, just all their characters in it.
Yep. Oh my
But,
god, Crash, Jack, Daxter, Nate.
Completely
just all
break the
going at
immersion
it.
of all
Joel.
those games. All of it.
Yep. It's a battle royale with every Naughty Dog character in existence.
We're good to go.
Like
Fucking
Crash
imagine.
Team Racing, but just like the Naughty Dog.
They even have
verse.
race cars, dude. You can battle royale with a race car.
That'd be so sick. Honestly, I would forgive them if they announced that. If they announced that, I would forgive them for everything.
If that was the project, that's
They would be forgiven for every. Yeah.
for every
I
transgression.
want them to buy the rights back from what's it called? Buy the rights back from Crash, from Activision. Pay them all the money to get Crash back, just to do that.
That'd be OD. But all right.
I was going to. Okay. I'm here to bring different points of view, like I said, and so is Crimson. So is Tech. I think Tex is more here to keep us entertained. But what I was going to say is that I think Naughty Dog is really misinterpreting what people actually want, because they're looking at the fans' reaction to factions not being included, and they're going, "Oh man, the fans really liked." I think they don't want to bring factions back so much as they want to bring the feeling and the magic, as they described. That they just want to recreate the feeling that we had playing factions. So that's why I think that they're really misinterpreting the whole thing when they're saying you'll get that same feeling that you had when you were playing factions, just at another time, and we don't know what it's gonna be yet. I think so again, that reinforces the fact that I think that they're just making something brand new, is that they're going, well, we had TLU factions, we had the TLU multiplayer, and people love this so much. Why are we limiting ourselves to The Last of Us, you know, this post-apocalyptic zombie shit, when we could take this same exact thing and put it at an even broader scale? You know, I think that's genuinely what I think I genuinely think that they're misinterpreting the whole thing. I want a post-apocalyptic group of factions going at it with, you know, modern weapons. I don't want it to be anything other than that. And maybe they feel people like me are just halting their.
Rip.
Wait, they're doing what?
My mic disconnected. I think that
Part two.
Passionate.
But-
Too
hey-
passionate.
Hey, disconnected Mike's part 2. Okay, now go ahead.
pretty much. What I was saying is I think they're misinterpreting the whole thing, and maybe they feel that people who want to keep the multiplayer thing in The Last of Us or Uncharted, that they feel that that's limiting them, or that they feel that they're being hindered and their potential could go so much more further beyond than just Last of Us and Uncharted, because Last of Us and Uncharted are seen as single player games. That's just what the large majority of the game community sees them as. They see, because I see Xbox fans constantly shitting on games like TLU and Uncharted, because like, oh, all you play is single player games. What are you gonna do when you beat them? Are you just gonna replay it? You're gonna get tired of it eventually. And like, little do these dickheads know that there's actually a golden multiplayer experience hidden beneath those layers of story and single player. That's not even bad to begin with.
Fuck those guys.
Yeah, so I just think that they're taking that feedback, because they seem to take all feedback. They don't just take it from people like us. I think they take it universally from everyone. So they're saying, wow, people are looking at our games like these single player games. Why don't we just go full on multiplayer? You know, we don't need to be limited. We don't need to be limited by Last of Us and Uncharted. We don't need to be limited by this single player label. We can take this so much further. I think that that's what's going on with them. Of course, you never know what goes on behind closed curtains. You never know what goes on in their heads. But that's if I could make an estimate, or a guess as to what their thought process is right now, that would probably be it. Is that they want to recreate factions, but they just don't want it to be factions. They don't want it to be in the TLU-verse. If that makes sense. Yeah.
TLU outside the TLU-verse.
That one's dead.
I'm just trying to reinforce my point as to why I think that they don't, that, you know, because I was listening to Stan and you talk about Last of Us Online is on the way. It's coming. I have.
And let me just say this also, because of the way like the industry is shifting too, and I've gone on that if they're not even like talking about it or giving me details. Even CD Projekt Red said that like a multiplayer mode is coming
Down one
to
turret.
to Cyberpunk. You know, when they get the main
That
game
one's
out
dead.
and they do all their DLC stuff, then that's when they're gonna
And I'm
focus
gonna be on
up
that shit. I'm gonna be on that shit long after I
Down
get
one
to
turret.
review.
That fucker ain't
Exactly,
getting
like we're gonna,
Wait,
it's like we're gonna be,
fix you up,
we're
fix you
gonna
up.
be playing the money that we should be giving to Naughty Dog, but we're gonna be giving to CD Projekt Red instead because they know what's up. They know how where the industry is going, and they actually know how to like do it properly.
Thank you.
I
That's what
really
I've
don't
been
want-
saying is that CD Projekt Red is one of the few, very, 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 very few, especially on their scale. They're one of the biggest gaming companies in the world right now. They know how to do it. They know how to do it right. Which granted, a few years ago they didn't because they were like, hey, here's Cyberpunk, and the following
Yeah,
years
they
are just
just
crickets. But
Yeah,
this year,
yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
this year they absolutely knocked it out of the park. They've been frequently vocal with fans, like, "Hey, this is what we're gonna show you. You have any questions? Come to us. Okay, this is what you're actually doing in that mission. Oh, this is how the character creation is gonna go. This is how
Time
the
to wrap this
story
up.
is gonna unfold. This is how they just
Hey,
haven't
I'm
been
good to go.
cryptic whatsoever. And I so wish that this is what Naughty Dog would be doing. Like, I seriously think that they could learn from them.
As much as I anticipate CD Projekt, as much as I anticipate obviously that goes without saying, but as much as I anticipate Cyberpunk, I don't go out of my way to like look at news for that game as I have been doing for TU.
You don't need to go out of your way because it's just there.
I mean, thanks for interrupting my point, but yeah, that's
sorry.
that's the point. But that's the point.
Sorry.
I don't need, but like at the same time, I don't really need to go out of my way because they say it up front, and then like because of that, like your timeline will just get flooded with CD Projekt Red news and whatnot.
Give me a second.
So yeah, I got to do something real quick, so just keep conversing amongst
All done.
yourselves. But I'm not
Let's
gonna be
go.
able to hear y'all for a second.
Oh, text, yes.
I'm hurt.
Can you kiss
Down
Keanu
one
Reeves?
uniform. Dead.
You're breathtaking.
So
You down.
Alright,
might-
I'm back.
I might actually be heading off soon, but first.
Oh,
Oh, sorry. What were you saying?
I was gonna ask you a question quick
Go ahead.
because you've been kind of letting us talk. So, I want to know where you stand. Do you think that because there's people like say me and Krim that have their doubts and are skeptical and think that this is not going to be related to TV whatsoever, do you think that that's a good thing that people are conversing about this because it creates discussion, or do you think that it's a bad move on Naughty Dog's part because they're just creating more confusion and they're not being clear?
Okay, so one second. There's this tag god I want to kill really quick. Yeah, I got it. Okay.
Oh, my Jake has been playing this whole time. I didn't even realize that.
Headshots per day.
Yeah, Jake, I was watching you. I watched the HR on Wharf, and I was like, God damn, like, if I was talking about a subject like this, I would not be able to focus whatsoever.
I couldn't believe I was able to do it because I got like I think a triple headshot while I was like super like passionate about what I was saying. That was
I
like
saw that.
that was what? That just killed me instantly. That's bullshit. But yeah, I've been really feeling it with the HR lately. I think I got like 20 downs the other day with it. It's crazy. But yeah, I appreciate that, Mr. Maka. But well, so your question, here's the thing, like I don't necessarily yeah, I'll say this, even though it doesn't completely answer the question. I would rather the speculation as far as like people being concerned, people, you know, like opening it up for discussion. I think that's awesome. I think that really like it really adds to just You know, because being lost in wonder and having more people talking about your game, that's kind of what you want. If you just tell everybody everything, there's not much to discuss. You know?
Look, firefly, watch
Like in
yourself.
reality, there's not much to talk about. It's nice when you're kind of in the dark, just in the sense that we're able to all have different
Fucker's down.
opinions. I do. Sometimes it goes a little overboard,
That's
in my
one.
opinion. Like this is probably one of those moments, but especially when they released that first trailer. Oh my gosh, dude! I wanted to kill just about every one of those stupid people and their theories, dude. Like people saying the one that killed me the most was when people are like,
Fuck.
"Oh my gosh!
I'm down.
Oh, Joel must be a ghost! Oh my gosh, Joel's a ghost! Holy shit! Oh, he's a ghost and he's gonna like, it's gonna be all this." I'm like, shut the fuck up! Why would they do that?
Like he didn't just grab her and cover her mouth like a few seconds earlier.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh,
to
I
this
was
day-
like, that literally,
this-
those things that people were theorizing was pissing me off. I'm like, you guys are really stupid. You know that, right? You know you're the dumbest people I've ever heard.
To this day, people still call that a rumor. That
Yeah.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
I don't. So like,
the-
it just kind of goes to show
All
like.
right, good to go.
The second I
That's
saw
from
Joel
Lumbago.
in that review,
He dies from lumbago.
oh my gosh.
Just
But
kind of that kind of just goes to show how naive people are when they like just consume
yeah,
media and shit.
I mean, I get that they're thinking
No,
whatever.
I totally get you, Jake. I hated that shit when
I literally like, cause I had some friends who were like
Hurry the hell
getting
up.
mad at
I'm
me
fucking
because
dying.
I was saying like, because of how mad I was getting about it, they were getting like mad at me. They're like, dude, people are just trying to think outside the box, Jake. And I'm like, dude, well, like, but dude, it'd be the dumbest thing. I'm like, okay, let's say he's a ghost. The whole game would be bullshit. Why would I even play this dumbass game? Like, that wouldn't make any sense. Why am I playing as Ghost Joel? And the whole time Ellie's just a schizophrenic because she got in a car accident that doesn't even exist?
Yo,
What the fuck?
Dina wasn't even real. Dina wasn't even real this whole time.
Like, this whole time, that she was just in a coma. And the whole time she's Assassin's Creed, the whole time. The newsflash. The whole... Ellie, we need you. We need you to be in Assassin's Creed now, cause we need money, cause this game's been broken for 20 years, John. It's just like, oh, so that's what gets me when they use it so broad, is when people come up with the dumbest shit. I'm just like, dude, are you guys even human? Do you think like normal people? Obviously not. And I just got 9 downs with an HR while talking about this shit. So anyway. It's just like, it's just like, it gets me so heated when like people are that naive to think of something that stupid. I'm like, did you not play the first one? Like, it's part 2, motherfucker. That means we're starting off from where we just finished on the first one. That's what part 2 means. In the title, I could have told you he's not a fucking ghost. Like, really? Do you guys have brains at all? The second I saw Joel, I'm like, just thank you to all, like, thank you, Naughty Dog, for not reading into these bullshit people saying, oh well, he's a ghost because he came out of a door that was like smoky and they didn't show his face. I'm like, oh, okay, that means he's a ghost.
Mystique, bitch.
So I guess in my skate video when I used that blurred effect on the Capitol, that means I was a ghost, guys. I wasn't even there.
Jake's not even real.
Oh shit,
I mean,
guys.
obviously.
Oh shit, dude.
Wait, so I'm a demon. Jake is a ghost.
Yep. Apparently. So I guess that's where
We're really
like,
getting into spooky season.
I guess I take a different take on as far as what pisses me off, because I'll tell you what, that pissed me off more than me waking up. Okay, let me take a step back. I was really tired last night. You know, I was just like, listen to my Christian music, and I went to bed. And
Good
I had
Christian
this
music?
I Christian rock. It's like metal. It's like almost metal, but it's just like, it's like heavy. It's like heavy rock music. It's a band called My Epic. They're pretty sick. You should look them up. I listen to them every night before I go to bed.
Nice.
But anyway, I'm sleeping, and I have this weird dream about Neil Druckmann. I kid you not. I've never Never had a dream
Neil
about Neil
Druckmann
Druckmann
came to you in
before.
your dreams.
I was at my parents' house, and he's like, I've been fucking you up for 8 years, boy. Well, anyway. so
He was visited by the spirit of Neil Druckmann.
Yeah, he came to Jake's stream to tell him that TLU 2's multiplayer isn't happening.
pretty much, I knew it before all of y'all, bro. So anyway, so
What did Ghost Neil tell you? Speak!
so one sec, I gotta respond to Courtney. One sec. So anyway, what happened was it was such a weird dream. I was at my parents' house, and like, it was like, yeah, Neil was there, and I'm like, you know, I'm talking to him, and then he was telling me something. He's like, it's something that actually isn't true. It's not true that what he told me. So let me just tell you what he said. But what happened? It was pretty fucking funny, dude. So he starts, like, we were having this conversation. He's like, I have something to tell you, and I'm like, what? He's like, you know, so in The Last of Us 1, I don't know if you saw it, but like in the credits, I said, you know, I thanked God for, you know, helping inspire us and like helping us make this game and just all this stuff. It didn't actually happen. It's not in the credits. Don't look for it. It's not there. So anyway, so he's telling me this, and so he tells me this whole thing, and he's thinking, but in part 2, I'm not putting that in there. Like, I just don't think I need to put that in there. I don't really. My views are a little bit different now. I'm not putting it in part 2. So I'm like, okay, I see where you're coming from, Neil. But in my opinion, I kind of think you should have left it in there. And I started just sharing my opinion a little bit, and he blew the fuck up, dude. He's like, you're just a bunch of those other fuckers that are just, you know, he just started just blowing up. Neil was just like turning black and blue. It was insane, dude. He was just like,
he was about to beat your ass like PC guy did on South
in your
Park.
dream.
In
He was,
your
dude.
dream, Russ.
it was insane. So he's just like, he was freaking out. He's like, you know what? He like got to the point where he like almost made me cry. And I'm like, Neil, dude, like, whoa, bro, like, I don't have anything against you as a person. Like, don't take this so.
It's me, Jake. Chill.
I was like, it's me, your boy Jake, bro. It's just a game. Just chill out. Don't kill me. I'm not a clicker. So, anyway.
It's my life. It's my holiness.
So anyway, so then I had to like really tone him down. I had to go total snowflake mode, and I'd just be like, look, dude, I see where you're coming from. I've like reinstated what he said, but I'm like, I just don't agree with you. Can we just have a conversation where we don't agree, bro? Is that like the thing? Can we just have that conversation?
Do you want some milk? Do you want some peace?
I literally told him to chill out. I told him to chill out and he should go take a shower, and he went and took a shower at my parents' house. It was good. So
I genuinely believe that he truly visited you in spirit form.
Let's go.
So Neil, he's in my dream, and I wake up to all this shit on factions. I'm like, wait, am I still dreaming? This seems bizarre. So I was so confused. I woke up to just being tagged in all this stuff. So much was going on. Like, I was a kid. What in the world happened? I was chilling with Neil like 5 minutes ago. It's gonna be fine, guys. Neil's all good. He's not yelling anymore. He's taking a shower. Like, just chill out, guys.
And here we thought Sick Tricks was at fault. It was Jake's fault this whole time. He pissed Neil Druckmann off. It's Jake's fault.
Why was Dream Neil Druckmann taking a shower in your parents? Because
I told him to chill out, dude. I was like, dude, you need to, because he literally got so mad he was sweating, dude. And I'm like, bro, you need to like get that looked at. You need to take a shower. We can talk about it when you're.
That boy said he was sweating.
He was. It's pretty disgusting. And actually, I don't know if I should share the last part of the dream because it's kind of weird.
Did it have anything to do with butt sex?
Well, you can end the stream.
At this one point, like he was drinking water or whatever, and like he literally started getting fat as he was drinking it. It was so weird, dude. What the hell?
That's.
He is a bloater. He's a bloater. You're bloating.
Nick, what did you eat before you went to bed?
I didn't eat anything. I hadn't eaten in like 6 hours before I went to bed.
One down.
That's probably the problem.
Did you have a little bit of the Henny?
Oh my gosh, dude.
I think Neil is representative of Naughty Dog, and the water is representative of just how much we've
bullshit that they've bullshit that we drink from them.
Yeah. Yep.
Hey, so is anyone else trying to get their opinion heard in Edgewise here, or is
I was gonna
Jake just
say
end
one more
things?
thing as far as like. I was gonna say one more thing regarding Jake. You were talking about things that are pissing you off, and it's coming from just casual. I don't want to say casual gamers if they're playing Temu, but people that are just flooding these comment sections with, "It's okay, take your time. The game's better off without multiplayer anyway. We don't need the multiplayer. It's okay, just focus on the single player. We don't need the multiplayer." I've seen 100 of those tweets just today. And I don't think that those people realize that there's a whole community built on the multiplayer. Those are the
story-based people.
Those people do not realize how insensitive they're being
Can't keep going like
by
this.
echoing a statement like that, because they are just throwing away the ambitions and hopes of thousands of people. So Reviver 3.
Watch yourself. Dead.
It's so insensitive though.
Those ones piss me off so hard. I'm like, you go home right now. You should not be playing The Last of Us. That is not a game for you. You should just go find a different game. Go play Fortnite, dude. This is not a game that was meant for you.
Oh my god, dude! I saw something like that too. People were saying, if you want a third-person shooter multiplayer, just go play Fortnite. Leave the single-player games to us. We're better. It's like, dude, we love the single-player probably more than you do, 100 times more than you do.
Honestly,
we still have love for the multiplayer.
I was gonna say it's like people who stuck around for the multiplayer. Probably, most likely, almost definitely, like just like this game more than these other people talking about. Oh, it's like not every game needs a multiplayer mode. It's like I think we're more dedicated than we are.
Well,
And,
it's like the same.
We're bigger fans. We're bigger fans of this shit. Like, since you want to be all holier than thou, you know, let's leave the multiplayer to the casuals. It's like we are anything but casual multiplayer gamers. We just like a multiplayer experience in our favorite game.
Yeah, absolutely. No, the thing that reminded me of what you said, Krim, is just the fact that there's a band. It's one of my all-time favorite bands. They're called As They Lay Dying. They broke up because one of the members of the band.
He's got a shotgun.
Oh, he has a shotgun.
Fuck this.
One sec. Let me kill this guy. Let me just get him. No. So anyway, so what ended up happening was the band broke up because one of the freaking members went to prison for trying to.
Give me a sec.
He was trying to hire a hitman to kill his wife, and then the hitman was undercover cop, and so he went to prison for like 5 years or whatever. And so they broke up as a band for 7 years, and so they broke up as a band, and there was rumors that they were coming back, and everybody kept saying in the comments of like the video that was saying they might come back, and everyone's like, every good thing has to die at some point, like whatever, like they weren't that great anyway, blah blah blah, just said all their bullshit.
Shut the fuck up.
And it bothered me so much. I'm like, dude, guys, I'm still listening to these albums all the time. They're still my favorite band after all these years. Like, they're still like, there's probably bands I like more nowadays, but it's just like, I love them so much. I still love them. And
He's got a shotgun.
anyway, this guy's got a shotgun. 1 sec.
Oh, someone tried to kill their wife. That's crazy.
So anyway, so they actually came back as a band after 7 years. After 7 years, they actually came back. and I saw them live. That was my bucket list. I was like, I had tickets to see them when they before they broke up, and they broke up mid-tour, and I didn't get to see them. And they were the first metal band I had ever listened to. Like, I freaking loved them. And so, like, I was like, dude, what am I gonna do? I'll never see them. And so I got to see them. They were amazing. It was like one of the best concerts I've ever been to. And so, and it's those people who are like, no, you just need to leave well enough alone, and they're not a band anymore for a reason. Blah. I'm like, go home. This music's not for you. Freaking, I hate you. It's just like.
Bitch, go listen to the Beatles.
They literally came back, like, the way they announced that they came back as a band is that they released a song together, and it was the best shit ever. I'm like, holy, what did they do? Like, they still kept their sound.
Jesus.
It's just
Watch your ass.
ridiculous.
Yeah, I was on Twitter. I'm on Twitter right now. This dude's. I'm not, but all this Faction 2 talk is irritated.
That one's dead.
How hard is it to make Factions 2? Just take Factions
Cover me.
1,
I gotta patch up.
slap some paint on it.
Give it a 2.
Pixels or some shit.
I was saying that earlier. How NBA 2K.
Hey, shut up! The tweet's not
Fucking
done.
A.
Add some more
This is ours.
pixels or some shit,
They won't be
and
coming back no more.
Bomb Expert 4. Done. You're done. Like, that's it. That's Factions 2. That boy said add Bomb Expert 4. That's crazy. When you throw the smoke, it's an insta-kill. And you're immune to that smoke. You're immune to other people's smokes, and any smokes you throw insta-kill people.
NBA 2K gets away with releasing the same game every year.
So why couldn't they do that for Factions?
FIFA gets away with releasing the same game every year.
So that just pisses me off even more.
Dude, the guy on the other team he just messaged me, but he lost. What the hell? Okay.
Ho's mad.
He's a bitch.
Yeah, dude.
Ho's mad.
Okay, do you want to hear what he just said to me? Okay, one second.
Did he call you a cracker?
Oh, he called me worse than that, actually.
Uh-huh.
Okay, good night, Courtney. I'll message you before I go to bed. He says, I love to explode your face, faggot. It's just great. That's what he said.
Nah, bro, that's still gay.
Nah, bro, that's still gay. Bye, Courtney. Even though this isn't my stream and I shouldn't be talking to Jake's chat like it's mine.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh my gosh. So do you want to hear what I responded to him with?
Did you say, nah, bro, that's still gay?
Ho's
Better than
mad.
that.
Ho's mad.
So I still won and had more kills than you, so I guess you're actually the faggot who got his face blown off.
Nah, insert super hot boy reaction.
That's freaking ridiculous. I don't even know what his beef was. Like, it's like you lost, dude. Like, get over it. All right, see ya, Rage.
He's just talking about God of War 4.
But, are you guys wanting to catch some games? I think I'm gonna end the stream there. But if you want to catch some games, I'll still be on.
Fuck it, I've been playing all day, so.
Yeah. See ya, stream. Thanks for being here. I'm gonna stop the